Okay, recording.
Okay, so the other day I'm at home on my own. I haven't been out for a couple of days because we're asked not to go out, because of the COVID, and I was due my vaccination a couple of days later. So, and I found myself, I had some calls to make, and I knew the calls would be great when I made them, and I didn't make them, and I noticed my mood, went down. It was like, oh, and then the more I didn't do the calls, the more I felt guilty about not doing the calls and stuff like that. And it was just like to be out there, be in touch with people, tell them, what's going on, invite them to things and stuff. And for some reason, I didn't do it, And the more I
Mm-hmm.
didn't do it, I got myself into, a spiraling cycle. And all there was to do was to pick up the phone, because what I'm really clear about is that what enlivens me, what has me be um, engaged in the world is people, you know it's like it's that dialogue with people, and it all lives in the dialogue. And one of the wonderful courses I do, we talk about that we are a network of conversations, rather than
Hmm.
coming from I. So it's like I exist in a network of conversations, but maybe there is no I, maybe there's only the conversation. And
Huh. So that makes you basically never lonely because you're always a conversation.
and the conversation is not a conversation in your head. That's monologue, that's internal state. So don't, and let's face it, we are our own worst consultants. You know what I mean? It's like you're going
Mm.
to listen to this voice in your head that says, "Oh, I don't look good today. I should have." You've frozen. You're now muted. You're muted.
My Zoom does that. I don't know why. It's something that has to do with my MacBook. I'm gonna contact Apple and get it checked.
Your Zoom didn't want to hear me.
No.
I'm joking.
It's just like, yeah. I don't know. I'm filled with questions, and I'm totally getting that questions are a great place to be at. Um, but I'm like, how does she get so energetic? How does she get so passionate? Like, how does she have, this drive and this joy and this excitement and being? Um,
Mhm.
and yeah. And
Well,
and then I'm like, and what does she do when she's on her own? And he just told me it's like a network of conversations.
yeah, yeah. And the other thing that uh, so I do a wonderful course called the Wisdom Course, um, and the Wisdom Course leader sometimes says, "Look, if you really, if you really don't want to be doing it, don't do something practical, like clean the house. Like be structural. We talk about having structural language and immediate language. So structural language is drinking the cup, drinking, or something that's very concrete. But then
Mm-hmm.
there's all the other, languages. There's language of emotion, the immediate language where you go, you maybe want to cry, or you do cry, or you laugh, or something like that. But so I've taken to, if I'm really kind of don't want to, if I'm not in dialogue and I'm totally on my own, I can do something practical. And it's really good because the house gets cleaned, as an example. Or or you dance, or you something like,
Uh,
something, or do the dishes, or do something.
wow.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's
And
just
it's not,
great.
yeah, and it's not like, um this is not like advice for living or anything like that. It's just like try it on, that who we are is this network of conversations. Yeah. And it's and what opens up when we go beyond I am my feelings, I am my, it's like, like, so if you hold up your finger.
Okay.
You have a finger. You're not
Mhm.
your finger.
Okay.
So, and if I, when I remember, if I'm feeling down, or if I'm feeling kind of a bit off or something, it's just how I'm feeling at the moment. I am not that feeling, just like I am not my finger.
Ah.
I have a finger.
Oh.
I have emotions and feelings and thoughts and opinions and judgments. I'm very judgmental, you know. Somebody's walking down the street and I think, oh God, look how they're dressed. You know, it's like, they probably think the same of me too, you know. But I am not that. I have those thoughts and feelings and emotions and opinions.
Mm.
And I have the memories, but I am not them. Just
Wow, that is such a great thing to start. Like I woke up today kind of like also kind of like squished and tired, and I'm like, I need to brush my hair. But I as I'm starting to talk to you, like first of all, like your energy and like, and you know, there's also like my listening to you, right? I'm like, I'm talking to a woman who's been I forgot all like chancellor, like all those.
no, not councillor. I was
I
a
have no idea what these titles
city
are.
councillor and a deputy to the Lord Provost. one of the deputies. Like my title was Bailie for 4 years. Yeah.
And then you did this other representative thing for Glasgow, representing the people's something.
Yeah, I mean, as a city councillor, which is an elected position, I was a city councillor for 12 years. And within that, I represented my local ward, the people who
Yeah.
elected me and the people who didn't elect me, because not everyone would have voted for me, but everyone I represented. And then I had different responsibilities. And one of the responsibilities was as Equalities champion. And as Equalities champion, one of the things I got to do was chair a forum of faiths that brought all the faith communities together.
So here I am talking to like this, yeah, like this person who's like kind of been there, done that, and like really made a difference. And you're just, you know, like I think sometimes you expect someone who was a politician to be like drained, exhausted, and mushed. and you're like giving me like, I think I'm a bubbly person, but like, you know, I'm kind of squished right now, and you're like as you're speaking, literally the sun comes out. Yeah.
And you know, I mean, in 12 years of being a politician, I know I made a difference, and I know that there was more I could have done. And as you know, that I know you're interested in politics, and one of the things is that, you know, there's finite resources, and we have to direct the resources to priorities. And sometimes the priorities that are my priorities and my constituents' priorities are not the overall priorities at that moment. And I suppose I'm a bit of a pragmatist. You know, what can be achieved? Let's go for what can be achieved. And I always remember one of my biggest triumphs, if you like, was in my ward. There was a community centre, and it was going to be closed down. It was old. It was falling apart, and people typically wanted to go out with placards, "Save our centre." And I said to them, I'm not going to, you know, if you're going to stand with placards, I won't be there. But if you want a new centre, there will be one. If you come on board, we will have a new centre. 3 years later, we had a new centre. And I said to them, the council will not pay for it, and the council didn't pay for it, and we had a new centre.
How did you do that?
I took a stand. I took a stand for that community. I took a stand that we would have it.
But how did they pay for it if the thing?
Well, we found money. We went for other resources. We created resources. We worked in partnership with people. Worked in partnership with a local housing association. We, you know, did I know how to do it at the time? Absolutely not. But I took a stand and said, if you stand with me, if you come with me, and you want a new centre, we will have a new centre.
Wow.
And so therefore putting it out there and people coming on board, I couldn't have done it on my own, but I took the stand and people came on board.
Wow.
And we had it. And yeah, and it's,
gosh,
you know, it's the power of word. And if you look at a lot of, you know, some of the work you do, you know, it's like it's the power of, you know, it's that power of music, the power of, you know, there's lots of influencers these days, yeah? And that's, I mean, this term influencers, you know, it's like, this is a relatively new term to me, you know. There was always people who influence, but they're now influencers, and some of these influencers are making a lot of money. But what are they influencing? Who are they influencing? And what you're investigating is, as I see it, as I understand it, is the power of music and the arts to transform and get a message that lands, really lands.
Yeah, I think what I'm investigating is really to land, and I'm like, let's bring music to it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess yeah, it is through arts, because it started with a video and now it's music video. Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah. It's yeah, the goal is like to get information more accessible. Yeah, and the arts is kind of like a different language. Yeah, you articulated it fairly well. Yeah.
And one of the things I've learned over the years is that information lands with people in different ways. There's no one way, and what might land with one group of young people or one group of, you know, anyone, might not land the same way. The same thing won't land the same way with someone else. And I used to get really upset when people would say to me, how come, or ask a question. I used to think they're criticizing me, and then they just need to know. You know, some people are big picture people and they need the big picture. Other people need every detail. And most of us are somewhere in between, yeah? And when I got that, I could stop being defensive, because when someone asked me a question, I used to be so defensive. Sometimes I still am, but
oh gosh, we all are.
Yeah, but then I get, oh, they're just asking a question. You know, they just need to know something, and either I'll know the answer or I won't. You know.
Yeah.
And and that once I got that, you know, like in a community, you know, take the example of being a city councillor. You know, in a community, people would maybe be calling for something and wanting something, and then, or I maybe trying to explain a policy or try to explain why not. Very often it was why we couldn't do something. And some people would get it with a big picture answer, but other people wanted to know, well, how come? And, you know, and they wanted a complete analysis. And when I really got that I need to be speaking in a way that lands with as many as possible, and I can take on board wherever they're coming from, then that was empowering for me and for them. Yeah.
It's just so funny. I'm still like so present to how like I have a finger. like you know, I'm still kind of like getting out of like the earthly energies of like waking up and being like, oh, a day. and I get that that's just gonna go away. And just like talking to you, you just like really like just like in my face, you're like, yeah, Shelby, like, you know, like you said, like you woke up because you know, because that was your structure, and then you started doing, and here you are, and you're 2 hours behind me, so I should be more awake. And it's okay. I'll probably go out for a walk or a run, and but like, you know, the fact that right now I'm having like the earth, my mom calls me the earth powers, like, you know, calls you back to be part of the earth and sleep and forever. And yeah, and that's just the state right now, and that state is going to change. And
and, you know, some people are, you know, not like it's true, but I would say I'm really a morning person. I'm alive in the morning, you know, kind of. I'm alive all day right enough, but I mean, I'm really kind of, mornings are my best times. Too much if it's going on holiday with me and you want to have a long lie, I'm not the person to holiday with, you know. I remember having a villa holiday with some friends, and every morning I'd be up, you know, in those days I was out running, and then I'd come back from my run and I'd swim in the pool and everybody else is sleeping, and then I'd go into the kitchen, and of course a marble top, one little spoon in a marble top sounded like, and people would say, Irene, stop it, you know, so it's like.
Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I want to go for a run in the swim right now. And then, cut things on the marble. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. And, you know, it's grand being, you know, so in the morning, so you're tired in the morning, so you're tired in the morning. be tired in the morning, isn't it? It's not.
Sometimes.
It's, well, you know, or
Yeah.
in the moment, or tired in the moment, or something. 4
Yeah.
o'clock. I have seen myself at my computer listening to something and realizing I've fallen asleep for 10 minutes. Hopefully not on a Zoom, but
Oh my God.
shall I be?
Gosh, thank you so much for just like your partnership, and
Yeah.
I'm just really, 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 just thank you. I'm gonna end this now so we could end with each other, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do this again, and like just like I really want to like just ask you more about like, I know that not everything about you is the politics life, but like you just have so much to share from there, and I just really wanted to record part of our conversation, but I was
Okay.
I was like I just want to share this person with the world, and like the energies you have right now, I'm just like so mind blown. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, well, listen, have a great day. And listen, I really want you to do the wisdom course. Yeah, I do. I think you would get it. You really get it. So much problem. Anyway, listen, so let's create another time to